fourth graders, it's Mrs. Adams, and welcome back. Today we are going to be planning our story using something called a plot roller coaster. Okay, so now that you've chosen your small moments, I want you to begin planning your story. We're going to do it a little bit more specifically using my rough draft of Naked in the Snow, if you remember that from last week. So I want you to take a look at this image. This is called a plot roller coaster. As you can see, you start with the beginning of the story, and as you're going slowly up the roller coaster, you work on the events that cause or lead to the problem or conflict. At the top of the roller coaster, that is where you hit the high point of the story, the most exciting. And then you're heading down the roller coaster. It's called the falling action, and it's the events that lead to solving or fixing the problem. And then, of course, the conclusion, which is the end of the story. And the problem is usually solved, but not always. So we're going to take a look back at my story, Naked in the Snow, and we're going to be breaking it up into sections, the beginning, the middle, and the end. I would like to see if you could do this by yourself at first, to pause the video and try and break it up. And then when you're ready to go, we'll work on it together. So the first thing is that we need to set the scene of the story. One day it was really cold outside. My brother, Nathan, Mark and Denise were all at home. So I'm setting the scene. Where were they? Okay. And what is it like outside? After that, we're going to start heading up the roller coaster, and we're looking at events that cause or lead to a problem or conflict. This is also called the rising action. So in my story, Nathan was being a really big brat to Denise and Mark. Denise and Mark didn't like it. So they decided they were going to teach him a lesson. All right, this is the climax of my story. This is the high point of the story, the most exciting. Nathan was in the bathtub. Denise and Mark snuck up on him and pulled him out. He started to scream and scream and scream. They pulled him outside. It was snowing really hard, and cars were going really fast by. Then we have the events that lead to solving or fixing the problem. It's called the falling action. Oh, I forgot. My mom heard Nathan screaming. Denise and Mark pushed Nathan into the snow, and he got really cold. And then, of course, at the end, we have the conclusion, which is the end of the story, and the problem is solved most of the time. So fourth graders, this is, of course, my sloppy copy, my rough draft, and I know that you have noticed some errors. First of all, that is not a story. It's one giant paragraph. You're going to notice I did not indent. You're going to notice some spelling errors and lots of other errors. And fourth graders, that's what we have when we do our first draft. So what I would like you to do today is take your small moment, and I want you to break it up into a plot roller coaster. So on a separate sheet of paper, I want you to draw a curve like a roller coaster and break your story up into beginning, middle, and end, where you have a rising action, a climax, a fallen action, and then a conclusion. I cannot wait to see this, and neither can your teachers. So take a picture and send it to us.